The voice on the airport radio. Just after midnight at one of the world's busiest international airports, air traffic controller Daniel Mercer was monitoring a routine overnight shift when a voice suddenly appeared on a secure airport operations frequency. Gate 47. Check the Southern Service corridor. The transmission was calm, professional, and strangely confident, yet no call sign accompanied the message. No aircraft, vehicle, or airport department identified itself. When Daniel requested identification, only silence followed. At first, staff dismissed the incident as radio interference. But 3 nights later, the same voice returned. Fuel storage inspection scheduled tomorrow. Again, no identification. Over the following weeks, the mysterious transmissions continued. Each message was brief and specific. Sometimes the voice referenced locations. Other times it mentioned equipment or operational concerns. Disturbingly, several messages appeared connected to issues later discovered by airport personnel. Airport authorities launched a formal investigation. Communications engineers confirmed the transmissions were genuine. Security teams reviewed surveillance footage. Technicians inspected antennas, repeaters, and radio systems. Everything appeared normal. What worried investigators most was the speaker's knowledge. The unknown voice seemed familiar with internal airport operations, maintenance schedules, and restricted areas that were not publicly accessible. Controllers began recording every transmission. Patterns soon emerged. The voice always appeared during low-traffic hours. The same phrases repeatedly surfaced. Certain airport locations were mentioned more than others. As investigators analyzed recordings, they uncovered something unexpected. Archived communications logs suggested similar unidentified transmissions might have occurred years earlier. The mystery was no longer confined to recent events. A multi-agency inquiry was assembled. Airport security investigators worked alongside radio frequency specialists, digital forensics analysts, aviation consultants, and journalists. Together, they reconstructed every known transmission. Radio engineers discovered the signal originated from multiple locations around the airport perimeter, making traditional triangulation nearly impossible. Whoever was transmitting understood radio systems extremely well. Journalists digging through historical records uncovered forgotten reports involving unauthorized radioactivity, communication vulnerabilities, and internal disputes between airport management and communications personnel. Former employees began speaking anonymously. Several described concerns raised years earlier regarding weaknesses in the airport's aging radio infrastructure. Those warnings, they claimed, were never fully addressed. As investigators compared decades of maintenance records and incident reports, they noticed repeated references to a communications disruption that occurred nearly 15 years earlier. Yet every attempt to locate official documentation failed. Then a breakthrough occurred. A retired airport administrator revealed the existence of a sealed internal report. The report detailed a major communications incident that had never been publicly disclosed. During a system modernization project, multiple radio channels experienced unauthorized access. Investigators at the time suspected insiders were exploiting overlooked vulnerabilities. The report contained missing radio logs, conflicting witness statements, incomplete investigations, and evidence that certain records had disappeared entirely. The discovery transformed the case. Investigators now believe the mysterious voice might somehow be connected to individuals involved in the earlier incident. Retired communications engineers revealed that several backup transmitters had remained operational for years after being officially decommissioned. Certain access credentials had never been removed from legacy systems. The voice's messages suddenly appeared less random. Many references pointed toward locations, equipment, and decisions connected to forgotten communications incident. Someone seemed to be directing investigators toward pieces of a hidden story. Digital forensics analysts eventually identified the most likely explanation. Evidence suggested a former communications technician involved in the modernization project retained extensive knowledge of legacy radio systems. Investigators believed he may have discovered dormant access points that allowed transmissions onto operational frequencies. Although the individual denied involvement before his death, records showed he had repeatedly attempted to raise concerns about unresolved security vulnerabilities. Yet certainty remained impossible. Several competing theories emerged. Theory 1 proposed that a former insider used forgotten system weaknesses to broadcast the messages. Theory 2 suggested someone connected to the earlier communications incident deliberately used a radio network to expose hidden information. Theory 3 argued multiple unauthorized operators may have contributed to transmissions over the years. Theory 4 maintained that crucial evidence remained missing, preventing investigators from reaching a definitive conclusion. Then came the final transmission. Recorded shortly before the broadcast stopped forever, the message lasted only seconds. The voice sounded older and calmer. Some records were never meant to disappear. Silence followed. Investigators attempted to trace the signal, but no secondary transmission occurred. The voice never returned. Years later, experts continued debating who was responsible and what their true motive may have been. The official investigation closed without identifying a definitive suspect. But the recordings remain, a reminder that even within one of the world's most controlled environments, a single unidentified voice managed to bypass secure communications, expose forgotten failures, and leave behind one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. As the final recording plays, the frequency fills with static, then silence. Narrator: airports depend on clear communication. Yet one unidentified voice managed to turn a routine radio system into one of aviation's most enduring mysteries.